Harihi, Harihi Om Tas. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. Shuddho Buddho Vimuktaha Shruti Shikhara Giram Mukhyatahat Parya Bhumi Yasmad Jahatam Samastam Jagadidam Amrtat Vyapya Sarvam Sthido Yaha Yasyam Sham Shavadarai Suranaravanajairirikshidam Sarvametad Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatamamalam Krishnameva Prapadye Tam Bhumanam Mukundam Hridigatamamalam Krishnameva Prapadye Madhya Hridaya Kashe Sadanandamayo Guru Udetu Satatam Samyak Swatmananda Prabodhaga Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tas. Jai Guru. We shall have 3 times Omkara recitation. My voice is not good, so I would like all of you to supplement and complement whatever is less in me by your own voices. Interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect. Close your eyes. Open the mouth as well as the heart and join me. Our joint recitation should permeate the whole of the earth, showering its benedictions on all the creatures. This should be the feeling, the intention that every one of you must have while reciting it jointly with me. Harihi, Harihi. I used to recite several years ago a shloka which I am going to recite now for all of you to follow. No, I will change it. Divi bhumau tatha kashe Are you able to get it? You want me to repeat? Divi bhumau tatha kashe
Divi bhumau tatha kashe
Bahirantascha me vibhu
Bahirantascha me vibhu
Bahirantascha me vibhu
Bahirantascha me vibhu
Yo vibhatyavabhasatma
Yo vibhatyavabhasatma
Yo vibhatyavabhasatma
यो विभात्यवभासात्मा
तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः
तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः
तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः
तस्मै सर्वात्मने नमः.
This is a very good sloka. The message is very beautiful, especially for all of you. Divi bhumau tatha akashe. Divi means in the yonder heights. You may call it Swarga, celestial regions or anything else. Bhumau, upon the earth. Tatha akashe, in between, the entire space. Behihi antascha, outside as well as inside. Are you following? The entirety of existence is covered in this. Divi bhumau tatha akashe behihi antascha me vibhu. Whichever Supreme Lord is present in all these places alike, in the same manner. Yo vibhadi avabhasatma. There comes your trouble and also challenge. He who shines, avabhasatma, in the nature of true brilliance or splendor itself. Generally, light reveals to us the objects on the earth. During the day it is sunlight. When sun sets, some other form of light. Light alone can reveal the objects before the eyes. So we generally mean by light the visual light which reveals and helps the eyes in order to see. But actually light does not mean that. Do we see only objects outside? What about the thoughts and feelings and emotions you have? What about the reasons, the search and research findings, etc.? So we have got the mind on the one hand, intelligence on the other. Both of them are producing their products. How are they revealed? They are not revealed by the sun or external visible light. So what is that light which reveals to you when a thought arises, a feeling germinates, an emotion springs up, a reason issues forth from the intelligence? So there is something, think beyond the light. There is some presence that reveals to you whatever is outside and inside. If your eyes are seeing the light, and in the presence of light the objects, the eyes cannot see by themselves. I don't know whether I have told you, let me repeat it. Our whole body along with the senses is completely a product of matter. Will you agree when I say this? Our body with the senses, nothing but a mass of matter. And matter is inert, I-N-E-R-T. It has no quality or power to generate an experience or knowledge. So what do you say about it then? So can the eyes see by themselves? Think of a sleeping man fast asleep. Open the eyelids and show a flower or a bunch of flowers. Take the flowers away and allow the eyelid to close. Next morning you ask him, did you see the flower I showed? He will say no. Why? The biological eye was open and the object was shown. Why is it that the eye was not able to see and register it? So the eye is inert, I-N-E-R-T, insentient. The senses have no power to sense. The entire material body, together with all its parts and senses, is inert. It is animated and activated by the mind. And mind is not a physical part of the body. nor is it matter. Can you deny what I say? Please correct your understanding. Our body does a lot of biological functions, I agree. But in all these functions, it requires animation, activation by something different from matter. So, even the light which eyes are able to see, and in the presence of the light, the objects the eyes are able to see, don't think that they are seen by the eyes. The actual vision takes place when the mind activates the senses. Mind is inner. So the inner mind, when it activates, the activation will be inner or outer. So the entire perception, sensory perception, is taking place inside the body or outside the body. Will you agree? Can I trust you? I think I cannot trust you. That you have a body is actually an internal notion that you have. A notion is produced by the mind. So what is the supreme light then? It cannot be the external light which reveals colors and shapes, sounds, smells, tastes and touches. There is only one illuminer, and that is the I within your body. Divi bhumau tathakashe behirantascha me vibhu yo vibhadi abhabhasatma. So that one factor which enables you to have all the knowledge, all the experiences, its very nature is abhabhasatma. Its very nature is revealingness. It only knows to reveal. If it is external, it will reveal it externally. If it is internal, then also it will reveal it. So that which reveals the inner things like thoughts, feelings and the like, and external things like colorful objects, it is actually the same source. Avabhasa Atma Tasmai Sarvatmane Namah. I prostrate before that Sarvatma. That all self. Divi bhumau tathakashe behirantascha me vibhu yo vibhatya vabhasatma tasmai sarvatmane namah. I will recite it again. I want you to recite not once, at least 1,000 times. Divi bhumau tathakashe behirantascha me vibhu yo vibhatya vabhasatma tasmai sarvatmane namah.
Tasmai sarvatmane namaha.
Tasmai sarvatmane namah.
Tasmai sarvatmane namaha.
This is a very beautiful contemplation, a beautiful prayer, very good invocation. Is it not? It will take your mind away from the so-called gross things, enable it to rise, and lodge itself in the invisible expanse. You cannot say, when I say invisible expanse, it is beyond our concept. What about the sky and space, which surrounds all the planets and heavenly bodies? Do you know the proportion of space with reference to all the planets and stars hovering in the sky? It is decimal point 19 zeros and 1. Decimal point 19 zeros and 1 of total space. If you aggregate all the celestial bodies together, this will be the result. And that sky is what you see in between you and me. We are not seeing the air. It is the space. Objects cannot exist except in space. And space cannot be detected, recognized, except in relation to objects. So time, space and objects, if at all, have together sprung up. Together. Before time there was no time. Before objects there was no objects. And before space there was no space. I don't know whether I am talking to you good things. Okay. Are you finding it difficult to think? Huh? When I say before space, you may say, Swamiji, unimaginable. I will make it imaginable to you. Have you not dreamt in your life? Huh? You have dreamt. Whatever happens in dream, where from does it come? Only the sleeper dreams. So sleep is a state which gives rise to dream. In the sleep, was there any space? चुप रहते हैं क्यों? बोलिए ना आप. I will make you think. Sleep is a state where nothing is there and it is nowhere. It is nothing and nowhere. Only when the sleeper wakes up, he can say, I slept comfortably. But not during sleep. In sleep, the sleeper has no need of any kind. He has no hunger, he has no thirst. He has no thirst. You can sleep for 100 years without any food and drink. So from that sleep arises the dream world. For the dream world to be, should there not be space? Why are you keeping quiet? Huh? The object world is existing in space. Something similar is taking place in dream. So for the dream world, should there not be space? But in sleep, did you have space? And from sleep, if the world arises, it means space also has evolved. So the pre-space presence is what is denoted by sleep. So don't think that these are concepts beyond our comprehension. They are concepts within our comprehension. We cannot refer to anything except when we comprehend it. The world is what we perceive, comprehend, cognize and recognize. The world is that. Which world are you referring to? Are you referring to the world of God's creation? Or are you referring to the world which you perceive during your wakeful state? थोड़ा बोलिए ना, चुप रहते हैं क्यों? हाँ? It is your wakeful world. It is your wakeful world. 16 to 17 hours you are wakeful. And you are wakeful only from sleep. Show me one person who has woken up except from sleep. And show me one person who has not slept after wakefulness. So we do only two things. What is that? We sleep or we wake up. We wake up or we sleep. Nothing else is there. So this wakefulness is an emergence, an evolution from sleep. And the wakefulness is going to terminate again in sleep. So the wakefulness is in between two sleeps. So can you tell me what is its authenticity then? थोड़ा सोचिए ना, हंसिए ना. हे क्या बात है? इतना सोचने का क्या है? यही सत्य है. इससे अतिरिक्त कोई सत्य नहीं. Every wakeful world is between two individual sleeps. Individual sleeps. So the entire world is born of the individual's wakefulness. Because all of us remain wakeful alike, it becomes a common world. But it is a creation of the individual sleeping consciousness. Now, I thought, I have been speaking on Bhagavad Gita for 67 years. Here also I have spoken 47, this is the 47th year. I have come to take up the Jnana Yajna, yearly Jnana Yajna. So I have spoken quite a great deal about Bhagavad Gita. This time also I am going to talk because I want every one of you to read Bhagavad Gita every day, at least 1 or 2 or 3 chapters. 3 is the best, 2 is the moderate, 1 is the minimum. And then apart from reciting the chapter or chapters, I would like you to read 1, 2 or 3 verses and try to understand them. Split the words, understand the meaning of word, try to make the prose order. Now, in the book which I have written recently, it is all very well given. And then try to understand its relevance, application and context. The subject selected for us is eternal values and relevance of Bhagavad Gita. Is it not? Eternal values in Bhagavad Gita. Eternal values in Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is a book of values. What kind of values? Eternal values. Why they are described as eternal? Because values are of 2 kinds. Contemporary values and eternal values. Contemporary values are changeful by their very nature. Our parliament is meeting at least 2 times in a year. What are they meeting for? The parliament is called a law-making body. So every time they meet, they have to make some law. Otherwise, they are not parliamentarians. What is law? 1 value, 1 discipline, 1 permission or 1 refusal. Something is put there. Then only it becomes law. Punishment should be clearly told. How much is the punishment? The judiciary sits in judgment, governed by the enactment for the relevant case. So, what is happening? Contemporary values are consistently being made. But these contemporary values are changeful. That is why they make new laws. But there are values which cannot, will not and have not changed at all. Such values are presented in Bhagavad Gita. In fact, our whole culture is built upon the eternal values of human life. We don't speak about the animal values. It is human value. Even if we think of the animals, it is our thoughts and concern and assessments about the animals. We are the focus for everything, the human. In the human, what is his personality? His personality is a composite one. When you say composite, it consists of more than 1 factor or constituent. What is the composite nature of the body, of our personality? We have a biological aggregate called the body. It is a mass of matter, flesh, bone, etc. This is only one part of our personality. It is the visible, gross part. But as I told you, it is inert. So what is the significant part of our personality? The significant part is the inner personality. It consists of 3 constituents. One is the mind, another is the intelligence, the third is the ego. There is no 4th factor within our body. So the inner personality is what employs the external outer body. Outer body cannot function by itself, as I already said. So for everything, this inner personality is the pronounced one, paramount one, most important one. So in this inner personality, how do values come up? All values are relevant to our emotional mind and rational intelligence. There is no value which does not relate to the mind and the intelligence. Values pertaining health and of the body, they are also conceived and they should be sanctioned and approved by the mind and the intelligence. That we must have hygiene. Who says that? Does the body say? Why are you keeping quiet? Huh? It is the mind that says. It is the intelligence that says. So all values have their relationship only to the mind and intelligence. What is the mind? Mind is emotional. What is intelligence? It is rational. The intelligence is always interested only in knowledge. The mind is interested in emotional and allied details. There must be a close collaboration between the mind and the intelligence. In children, about whom we make a lot of complaints, what is lacking is they become emotional but not rational. The integration of the intelligence and the mind, and then integration of the senses with this mind and intelligence. This is what Bhagavad Gita calls as Yukta Atma, an integrated personality. The senses should be functioning according to the impetus provided by the mind, and the mind's impetuses should be motivated and approved by the rational intelligence. Then you become a good, full, beautiful human being, fulfilling your own life and trying to serve the society in the best possible measure. So our values always have to become relevant to the mind and intelligence. When do values become necessary? When two or more people begin to live together, value becomes indispensable. Suppose there is only one individual living in this world, no value, no discipline, no norm, no law, nothing is necessary. He can be as much as he wants, as free as he wants. Suppose there is one more individual, then he will come up and say, you should not be doing this. I am affected. So when two or more people begin to live together in this world, value becomes indispensable. Do you agree with the proposition? Huh? So when more people are living, the value becomes all the more indispensable. So any value relating to the mind and the intelligence, as far as they have got an eternal bearing on our living, on our needs, on our persuasions, on our objectives, on our activity, interaction, they become eternal. They become eternal. You know, in all our scriptures, especially epic literature, the discussion is always around what? Around the human personality first. All of you are living, you have become adults also. But do you know about your personality? Can any one of you say, I know enough about my personality? About the body, doctors know. You don't know. About inside, neither doctors nor you know. What is inside the body? The whole mechanism, the whole magic is worked within. The mind employs the body and senses and interacts with the world, and the whole imprints and impressions are made by the mind, in the mind, handled by the mind, worked upon by the mind. So the whole life is internal. See, with the bare eyes, you can see up to infinite distance. An eye specialist told me that the far point of the eye is infinity. If you place a sizable object, a big object, at infinite distance, our naked eyes can see. That is how we see the stars. They are very, 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 very far away. Still the naked eyes are seeing them. Now, how did the biological eyes have this infinite power of perception? Who shaped the eyes? Can anybody say? The entire body was shaped by the fetus. The mother has no role to play at all, nor the father. The mother's role begins when the boy comes out of the womb and the umbilical cord is cut, not before. The fetus draws blood from the mother's body all by itself, and it shapes the brain, it shapes the eyes, everything is shaped by it in the course of a few months, a few weeks. Is there any growth anywhere in the world except from inside? Inside to outside is the growth. There is no growth from outside to inside. So our personality, is it nothing or is it everything? And the everythingness of it is not in the body, but inside the body. In the plane of the mind, in the domain of the mind, in the domain of the intelligence. So our scriptures discuss only three factors. One is the human personality, a definition of it. Bhagavad Gita has given a beautiful definition. The second part is the complex world. What are the complexities of the world while we interact with them? Then the third is the art and science and the process of interacting with the object world. These are the only three subjects everywhere. There is no fourth subject. Discussion of human personality, describing and trying to understand the complexity of the world. The third is, how can an individual human interact with the world, fulfilling his objectives and arriving at a fulfilled life. These are the subjects. Bhagavad Gita also discusses these and these alone. Values are not merely for the individual human life. Whatever activities and mission the humans take up, values are necessary. Even in the corporate world, you have capital to invest, then you have manpower, a corporate team, raw materials, different factories, installations, etc. But you should know, every corporate institution should have values also to be abided by. Any industry, if you don't have value, it will perish very fast in a few decades. If you want the institution to thrive very long, then the only way will be adhere to the values which will make it everlasting. This is something very important. If there is any greatness about the Indian society, it is that we evolved our eternal values and we have preserved them. We have pursued them and they are still not extinct. In the same way as they inspired the people then, they are inspiring the people today. And no science and technology have been able to displace them or reduce their importance. Understand it very well. I am wondering, when will people think like this? Devoid of values, a human as an individual will perish. A family will perish. A social segment will perish. A nation will perish. And globe also will perish. It is values that sustain us. Values. What are the values? Everything related to our emotional mind and rational intelligence. Say peace, it is a requirement of the mind. Contentment, it is constantly the search and need of the mind. Knowledge, it is the quest of the intelligence. As the body has hunger and thirst and appeasement as a need, the intelligence has the need to know. Mind has the need to be peaceful and contented. Contentment cannot be produced by any object in this world. Do you agree or disagree? Contentment is an emotional affair. As an emotion, it belongs to the mind. So if you want to be contented, open the door of your own mind. Don't open the door of stock materials. Open the door of the mind. Similarly, if you want to know you have a fulfilled life, try to understand life and lead it in such a manner that it will be fulfilling to yourself. It comes under the domain of knowledge. Am I talking sense? Huh? Any living society, any society upon the earth becomes good, noble and great if they have values to abide by. You think of making huge constructions, memorials, to commemorate the events of life. You can make memorials with the products of the earth. All of them are bound to perish in time. But the value treasure which we are able to evolve and preserve, they will never perish. Because the buildings undergo degeneration. But the values, no. People may degenerate, values cannot. Do you think the heat of fire will perish? When there is fire, there will be heat. The whiteness of the milk will prevail. So any human society becomes honorable, adorable, and people would like to emulate the society. Only when they have literature embodying everlasting values. Can you imagine Sri Rama born in the Ikshvaku dynasty? In the Raghu dynasty? 2 dynasties ruled India. One is the solar dynasty where Sri Rama was there. Another is the lunar dynasty where Krishna was there. The solar dynasty was very famous. They ruled this land. When Rama went to, he had hit Vali. And Vali was questioning him. On what account did you punish me? I am friendly to you. I always adore you. There is no enmity between me and you. Then why did you hit an arrow against me? He called for an explanation. Sri Rama was ready to give an explanation. He said, the reason why I hit you, it is dharma, value. What is that? You are keeping the wife of your younger brother. If a citizen does it, the king can excuse him. If the king does it, there is no excuse for it. I am not merely the king of Ayodhya. I am the king of the entire earth. I am a Kshatriya. And wherever there is injustice and impropriety, I have got the intrinsic right to confront it. That is why I have done it. He folded his hands and said, I am very sorry. I understand. I accept what you have done. What do you think? What do you think? There must have been other princes also like Sri Rama. It was a great dynasty. Before Rama and after Rama. But we know nothing about that. We only know of one Rama. The Simantaputra, the first son of Dasharatha, who had 4 sons. Why? It is because of the epic pen of Valmiki. Don't think that the kings can be immortal. Never. Never. Like all others, they are also mortal. Immortality is breathed into a personality by presenting the history of his life, if it is great, by people who can write. Valmiki wrote a Ramayana. We have not seen Valmiki, nor his pen, nor the Grantha he wrote, nor the hermitage where he lived, but his magic pen has produced millions of Ramayana copies, and his Rama is still robbing the wise in the hearts and minds of people. Valmiki was a robber. He robbed material things earlier. After having been graced by the sages, he still continued to be a robber, but robbing the dross and vice from the hearts and minds of people. He wrote the entire Ramayana only for that purpose. I don't think you know all this. Here Tulsidas Ramayana is very famous. I don't know whether he has written all this. Sri Rama and Bharata had a dialogue in Chitrakuta. Bharata is saying that what my mother has done is not done by me. I am an adult son. If she had snatched the kingdom of Ayodhya for her to sit on the throne, I would not have said anything. But she snatched it for me to sit. She must have sought my consent before doing so. So I disown it. I disown it. It's not mine. It belongs to you. Sri Rama said, my dear brother, you are always great. You have become greater by saying this. But I have something to say. I have come to Chitrakuta to live in Dandakaranya because of our father. Our mothers may differ, but our father is the same. He had given a promise and we cannot do anything about it. He has gone. So what father wanted and what father willingly gave, that has to be. Understand it very well. So Ayodhya will not be owned by me till I return. It has to be under your custody. The whole of Ayodhya was spurned. I generally write, it started swinging like a cradle, disowned by Bharata and disclaimed by Rama. This is India. This is the India I know. This is the India I love. This is the India I carry in my blood and heart. The human alone can say this. This is called value. This episode took place in the woods of Chitrakuta. Nobody would have known it. But when Valmiki rendered it to the palm leaves by cutting the fibers of the leaves, it became immortal, my dear souls. I don't know whether you are with me when I say all this. What do you think of the human mind and intelligence? If Valmiki had not written about it, do you think anybody would have known about this episode? So understand what is meant by writing. What is meant by being a writer. What is meant by a thinker. What is meant by our intelligence, knowledge. So the eternal values alone can survive when they are presented in the form of a literary treasure. India has enough and more of it. That is why we are great. What do you think of the Indian intelligence? At least the computer world, IT world had to appear to boost and tell people the brain power of India. We don't have IT industry so much to absorb our brains. All of them are going away. But still it is the Indian brain that you should understand. It is all because of this Bhagavad Gita, this Ramayana, this Mahabharata. Understand it very well. Contemporary values may change, but you will find eternal values do not change at all. We have got 3 important texts. One is called the Vedic Upanishads. The Upanishads were not originally written. They were only recited, spoken, heard and learnt. Heard and learnt. Even now there are scholars, maybe very few will be there, aged scholars. Where from did you learn Vedas? They will say from my teacher. You go to the teacher, he will say I learned it from my teacher. Like that, you will never find the first teacher. Everybody has learned it from his teacher. That treasure we have. Later on it has been written. So we have the Vedic Upanishads. That is the first primary source of knowledge for us. The Vedic Upanishadic knowledge was imparted by Krishna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The Upanishadic knowledge transpired in the forests, in the minds and hearts of ascetics who lived an austere life in solitude. Are you following? No. Mind you, it was evolved in the ascetic hearts and minds living a solitary, austere life in the midst of forests. But Bhagavad Gita is not that. Bhagavad Gita is the same knowledge imparted by Krishna, holding the reins of 4 horses, standing in front, turning back to Arjuna who was sitting on the chariot. All the 2.5 hours he spoke like that. And he spoke Upanishadic wisdom, but applying it to the context of war. Can wickedness rule the human society? Can greed be allowed to dominate the societal mind? Tell me the answer. Huh? Answer you give me. Even your own son may be wicked. As a judicious father, can you permit his wickedness? Huh? The son relationship vanishes there. The wickedness takes precedence. This was the question raised everywhere. So the Upanishadic wisdom of the woods and forests, Krishna beautifully interpreted it, applied it to the warring context. Why? Arjuna's mind was assailed. He had come to the battlefield after 13 years of preparation. Both armies were arrayed there. Arjuna also reached in his chariot, but driven by Krishna as the charioteer. War cries were raised. Suddenly it occurred to Arjuna that I should examine both the armies before deciding on my strategy. Krishna, therefore drive my chariot, station it at a suitable point from where I can examine both the armies. Krishna did a splendid job. He will always fulfill the need, but do something more. So he stopped the chariot right in front of Bhishma and Drona. Bhishma was the loving grandfather who had fed morsels of food to Arjuna, keeping him on his lap, and there was no enmity between Bhishma and Arjuna. Drona was the teacher from whom he had imbibed all the archery skill. Now he was supposed to use it against the teacher. I don't think you have the power of imagination. My dear souls, come along with me to the battlefront of Kurukshetra, 145 miles away from here. Arjuna's mind, what would it do? Bhishma has taken a solid position with Duryodhana. Even then he said, I am fighting on Duryodhana's side, but I bless you for your victory. Good that you have come and prostrated before me and sought permission, he tells Yudhishthira. Prito oham putra yudhyasva jayamapnuhi pandava. I am pleased. If you had not come, I would have cursed you. By standing on Duryodhana's side, if you had thought that I was also a votary of adharma and I wanted Duryodhana to win, it would have been a great sin and disorder. You came to me, very good. You are a Dharmaputra. I bless you for your victory. Do not ask me to fight with you. Anything else you can ask for. How can we put you down? Yudhishthira asked. That I shall tell you later, not now. Come to me at the appropriate time. And he told him, keep Shikhandi, the eunuch, in front and let Arjuna fight from the back. When I see a eunuch, I will keep my weapons down and remain quiet. That is the time to hit him. I don't know what you are thinking when I say all this. What is your estimation about the human mind? It is a trifling product. M-I-N. No. It is greater than the greatest. Anoraniyan mahado mahiyan. It is subtler than the atom. But it is more majestic than the super majesty that you can think of. What do you say? This is India, my dear souls. This Bhagavad Gita has reached the nooks and corners of India. What was the system of education by applying which they were able to take this Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana and Mahabharata to the corners of the country? I call upon our government to conduct a very special scientific investigation, as a result of which we will come to know the historic greatness of our ancients. There was no organized school or educational systems. No teacher was paid by the government. Everybody was teaching optionally, his own children and the others, saying that I am prepared to teach. Oh, ye seekers of knowledge, come, and I shall talk. And he taught alike his own children and the others. Such individual options resulting in a nationwide education. I don't know. Something happens to me when I say all this. What is this? Have we been able to bring about a similar educational process even now? With all the science and technology and the benefits extended to us? Are all people in India educated even after 75 years since independence? How did they achieve it? What do you think of the mind's resources in our society? What do you think of the ancient thoughts? So Krishna felt, Arjuna asked me to become a charioteer, and he has given me a tall order, keeping his Dhanush Gandiva up, Dhanurudyam Pandava. He drove the chariot and says, my dear Arjuna, Uvacha Partha Pashyaitan Samavetan Kuru Nidhi. The entire armies are assembled here. See them. I have my doubt, my dear Arjuna, he did not say. Do you have the real inner mettle and enlightenment to fight this unprecedented war? Do you think by the might of weapons alone you can win this war? Or you require something different? Not the physical and material might, but the might of the mind, the might of the intelligence bestowed by the magnificence of the Spirit. Have you ever thought about it? 13 years you performed austerity. You have come with the pride. I have got Gandiva. I have got Pashupadaastra. I shall fight not one, but a dozen Mahabharata wars if necessary. Where is your mettle? Let me see. The moment Arjuna saw them, wow. He saw Bhishma and Drona, and also his own kith and kin on both sides. On both sides. The sight totally overpowered him. The famous Gandiva which he had lifted up slipped from his fist and fell. He could not hold it. The entire body trembled. The mind started whirling like a whirlwind. The intelligence said, Arjuna, be careful. This is a sinful war. You are going to fight against Bhishma, your grandfather, and Drona, the teacher. Karna is unconquerable. Others also are there. Don't fight. Better leave the battlefield. Escape. Tell me now what is left in Arjuna. The material acquisition failed him. The body trembles. The mind whirls. And the intelligence ill addresses. Tell me, where is the further resource in him, whereby he can redeem himself? Poor Arjuna became a zero. A zero. A zero. He fondly looked to Krishna. What else could he do? He had left his weapons and sat. A heroic, illustrious fighter, putting his weapons down and unable to stand, to sit on the chariot, unprecedented in the history of India. आप लोग भावना मंडल में ला सकते हैं सब? थोड़ा सोच लीजिए क्या हुआ. What is this? Arjuna was full of tears. Suppose you were there, what would you have done? Can you tell me? Anyone? Suppose you were a Krishna, or you were another, and there was a person crumbling like this, what will you have done? Full of tears. I think tears will overpower your eyes. Suppose you are also tearful, then what advice can you give him? One tearful man going to another tearful person. Kuch hoga kya? Kuch nahi hoga. So Krishna smilingly answered, I have come with you to become the charioteer only to make you smile, Arjuna, not to make you weep. The war may make you weep, but your Krishna will make you smile. See that from my smiling face. I am happy. I was waiting for this beautiful moment. I have been your friend, fulfilling your desires, getting my sister Subhadra under your custody, against the wishes of my father and brother. All that I did. I was waiting for an opportunity when you will seek real spiritual knowledge from me. But you denied it. You never sought it. Now at least the time has come when you find you cannot fight this war and you want to escape. So I am very happy. The expected moment has come really, verily. This is the time I can plant the seed of beautiful immortal wisdom in you, by virtue of which you will shine, shine and shine ever. So he smiled. And what did he do? He admonished Arjuna. Admonished. Everybody cries. When they cry, you go. You also cry. And you speak tearfully. Why? Are we not humans? What do you think of your mind and intelligence? It is not capable of facing the confrontations of the world, whatever it may be. See, 41 people are trapped in the tunnel. How many days? 14 or 15 days have passed. Every effort is being impeded. What are we to do? To forsake the effort and come back? Or to strive again and again? What is the role of man? We are not a beast. The power of the beast is in the body, in the teeth, in the claws, in the legs and hands. But the power of man is in the mind, in the heart, in the intelligence, in the soul. We are not going to be daunted by anything whatsoever. Any calamity, any challenge, any kind of a persecution is certainly not unknown to us. It's all recorded in our epic illustrations and narrations. Can there be a grief which is greater than what Kunti had? Huh? Can there be a privation which is more pressurizing than Nala and Yudhishthira had? What is it that you are saying? Every instance of misery is a fortunate note in one's life, provided you think about it and resolve it. So Krishna said, Klaibyam masmagamah partha naidatvai upavadyade kshudram hridayada urbaryam tyaktvotishtha parantapa. Arjuna, I am your friend, you know. Listen to me. Where from have you picked up this unmanliness? This eunuch attitude of yours? Where from have you imbibed it? And that too, Vishame Samupastidam. Could you not have discussed this possibility earlier? Why did you not envisage it? Bhishma and Drona are already living in Hastinapura dynasty. Their grandsons quarrel, they are not going to contract. That infection remains there. They will not be infected by it. They are there to represent and safeguard Hastinapura dynasty. If the children are going to quarrel and fight, they will not be involved in it. Bhishma was not so intolerable that they will say, I go away. Why should he go away? Let the wrongdoer get punished in his own manner. I will be a witness to that punishment. I will not participate in it. That is greater grandeur if there is one. Am I talking sense to you? Huh? What is this? You are feeling so depressed, so afflicted. Why don't you go and prostrate before Bhishma and Drona and ask them, I am unsettled by my dear teachers and grandfather. You are not unsettled. What makes you settled and poised? Impart that knowledge to me. Instead of seeking redress from them, you are wailing aloud, bewailing, mourning. Is it becoming of a fighter? You have come here to fight. Not only you. Every one of the 4.5 million warriors has come here with a resolution to fight, kill the enemy, or to fight and get killed by him. Nobody wants to walk away from the battlefield unvictorious. No, no, no. Talk like a kshatriya. Speak like a fighter. This is not the palace. This is not a shrine. This is a battlefield. Everyone has come here to show his valor. In the cricket field or the football field, what will they do? They will put their excellence. And one party is bound to lose. Till they lose, you will ask them for penalty kicks. You are not prepared to accept a draw game. Am I not clear? Just like the players are displaying their skill, the fighters will display their skill also. And all of them except the winners, in this case winning 5, all the others died, fell dead in the battlefield. So speak the language of courage, valor, the spirit of adventure, the spirit of the kshatriya valor. Speak about it. Why are you importing and displaying sympathy? There is no ground for sympathy here at all. Abandon it. Eschew it. What is it that you are speaking about? Whatever you say, anarya justam, aswargyam, akirtikaram arjuna. This is not approved by the wise and the noble. It will not lead you to heaven. And it will lead you to defamation. What is this? You will be defamed. Defamed. You think that it is great to become sympathetic. You ask any fighter here, does he want direct confrontation from you? Karna was telling Krishna, somehow Krishna, bring Arjuna before me. Don't speak to me of anything else. Bring Arjuna. Let us confront each other. This is the attitude of everyone. Altogether, 20 words were spoken. 20 or 21. Arjuna's tears stopped. I don't think you are with me. No. Arjuna's tears stopped. 20 words hearing. Tell me the power of words. In distress, what can console you? In our ashram, people do come. And out of them there are bereaved people. Either the son died or the husband died. I hear them patiently and I start talking to them. I have my own methods and vocabulary for talking. When I get an opportunity and I feel it is right, I say, did the person die because you killed him? No, he died. Maybe what? In an accident or in a disease. You are not the author of disease. You did not cause the accident. He was born at a time. He has also died. Don't you love him? Yes. You are a loving husband. Would he like to see your tearful face? No. Then why are you shedding tears? Any instance that has taken place has to be accepted. I am not asking you to accept things which do not take place. Whatever has taken place, you accept. And whatever has gone away, you reject. Is there any problem in doing so? बोलिए ना थोड़ा. अरे something has already आ गया है, तब उसका स्वीकार करना है या इनकार करना है? जो चला गया उसके पीछे दौड़े क्या? हाँ? Only two things are necessary. Accept whatever comes and be at home with whatever goes. यही संभव नहीं है? Then why are we eating? Why are we getting educated? The academics are only for academic purposes. It is not for psycho-intellectual purpose. What is this? So what did Krishna do? Employing his intelligence, the tool of intelligence, he evoked the intelligence part of Arjuna. When the intelligence was aroused and awakened, the mind got subdued and the tears stopped. Arjuna's questions were all very appropriate thereafter. He asked, yes, I understand the need to fight. I shall fight. But Krishna, tell me dearly, Katham bhishmamaham sankhye dronam cha madhusudana ishubhi pradiyosyami pujarha varisudana. I shall fight. But how? I have an emotional mind. I have a rational intelligence. Is it appropriate to fight my grandfather who brought me up and who still loves me? I have fought many wars with enemies, against enemies. Against enemies I can fight. Against well-wishers, lovers, elderly people, honorable people who have no vice at all in their heart. How? This is not a normal war, an abnormal one. So you should equip me, enrich me, empower me, elevate me, enlighten me to take up my weapons. This was the enquiry he made. And all in a matter of a few seconds, maybe 3 minutes. For Arjuna, it was a war with enemies, against enemies. For us, we are not fighters. But our life itself is the war for us. Arjuna's problems were what? What? Grief, delusion, doubt, fear and ignorance. I will explain them tomorrow when you will understand. His confrontations were only psychological, emotional. He was aggrieved. He was deluded, not able to know things properly. He was fearful of the so-called consequences. And he was ignorant. All these. Now, these are the confrontations which Krishna took up and disposed of for Arjuna. All his ignorance simply fled. The doubt dissolved. The grief fled. The fear disappeared. And in a matter of about 30 minutes or so, the discussion rose up. It rose. It was no more the war. It was no more Bhishma and Drona. But it was deep-rooted questions about human life, human interactions, interactional consequences. What should be done for the mind to take up the life as a mission and fulfill its goal? This was the subject of discussion. It began with the war. But it outstripped the boundaries of the little war and it became a universal discussion, eternal discussion, everlasting discussion about the problems of the human mind and the solutions the intelligence can in time offer to effectively redress all the problems and persecutions. Tell me whether the values and the exposure made by Bhagavad Gita are of an eternal nature or they are. This is what Bhagavad Gita is. The entire Mahabharata is called Bharatam Panchamo Veda. It is the fifth Veda. the whole content and message you take from Mahabharata in an illustrated manner, you will find the entire Vedic wisdom is presented there. In that, the most essential part is the 700 verses constituting our Bhagavad Gita. The word Bhagavad Gita is to be derived properly. The word Bhaga means a set of 6 virtues. Aishwaryasya samagrasya, dharmasya yashasashriya, jnana vairagyayoschaiva, shannam bhaga itirana. These 6-fold virtues, they constitute Bhaga. Whoever has them becomes a Bhagavan. Krishna had them, so he became a Bhagavan. And this Gita is such that it will make every recipient of it a Bhagavan. So it has come from the Bhaga and it will make Bhaga in the listener, reader and the seeker. Shall I stop? Okay. Samvedyavarjitamannuttamamehgamahadyam samvitpadam vikalanam kalayan mahatman hridyevatishta kalanarahita kriyam tu kurvan agartrapadamehitya samodidashri kurvan agartrapadamehitya samodidashri. Hari, Hari, Hari. We shall have the conclusional Omkara. Take your pose for it. One time. Very good, very good.